Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I want to cover the 10 most important tips that are going to help you have the experience of a lifetime on the JMT. These will range from things you can do pre-trip as well as while you're on your trip. But stick around, there may be a little controversy here. So let's get started. Okay, so I've put these tips together into two different categories. The first set being tips before the trail, and the second set being tips while on trail. So let's get started with tip number one. That tip is utilizing Facebook groups and or Reddit groups for the John Muir Trail. Both exist. Both are going to be great in terms of helping you prepare for the trail. Understanding kind of the nuances of what's going on with the trail. You can get weather reports on the trail. There's other things that you can do, questions that you can ask. You can float through gear recommendations or choices. You can upload or add in what your tentative itinerary is and get folks to comment on there. Ultimately, it's great, depending on the time of the season you're going, to kind of get some trip reports and understand what's going on weather-wise, what's going on with snow melt, what might be going on with mosquitoes and bugs, or what's going on with different river crossings that are all part of the trail. So first recommendation is join those groups on Facebook, join the Reddit groups, and use those as tools to begin your thought process, your planning, and to understand kind of real world, as real time conditions as you possibly can. Okay, so continuing on with before the trail tips. Tip number two is ensuring that your logistics are squared away and dialed in. This is incredibly important. One, the JMT in the Sierra Mountain Range is a little bit of a challenge to get to logistically. It's just not the best or most convenient area to navigate to, especially if you're flying in from out of state or out of the country and you're not going to have some of the conveniences of your own vehicle or other ways to get around. Also, along the trail, and we've talked about this in my definitive 5-step plan to planning your JMT trip, which is here, on-trail logistics are challenging. And so you really at least need to have a plan. You can adjust and deviate from that plan as necessary, but in order to get ready, ensure that that plan is locked in and you know what you're doing. So make sure that that plan to the trail, on the trail, and I guess from the trail are all squared away and ready to go. Okay, tip number 3 for before the trail is going to be get out and do a shakedown hike or two or a couple little camping trips before you go. Two purposes for this. One is to help you physically ensure that you're in shape and that you're ready to go. You need to be preparing physically to hike the John Muir Trail. This is not one you can just kind of get up off the couch and go. Prepare physically for it. Do a shakedown hike or two. They say the Sierra miles are equal or equivalent to double or 2.5 or even triple what a normal mile is, just based on the starting elevation and the vertical gain that you will experience pretty much the entire trail. So shakedown hikes are going to help you with that. The second piece of a shakedown hike is going to be just making sure that your gear is sitting on you properly, and that you've got the right gear as you go out and do a night or two camping. See what you're using, see what you don't use. If you're not using something on a couple of days, you're probably not going to use it beyond that. If there's something you're recognizing over a night or two that you do need and you don't have it, great. You can annotate that and you can bring that back and ensure. One of the folks in our party was having a hard time with their gear, and it took like 10 of the 14 days to finally figure it out and get it to sit and feel right on them. That's a tough 10 days, especially with the mileage that's going on. Do a shakedown hike, dial in how things are feeling, dial in your gear, make sure physically you're as prepared as you can possibly be. And this will go a long way into ensuring that your on-trail experience is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so look, tip number 4 this is one of the most important things that you're going to do. That is taking care of your feet in preparation to be on the trail. And I think the two best ways to do that are, one, get some toe socks. I know they're weird. I know people don't love them. Toe socks with the material that will be between your toes are absolutely fantastic in taking care of your feet and ensuring you don't get those blisters that are between your toes, which are sometimes the most painful blisters that are out there. And then get gaiters on your shoes. Gaiters are such an easy thing. They weigh next to nothing, plus you're wearing them, and they provide so much practical functionality to keep the sand that there is on the trail, to keep rocks, to keep twigs, and any other debris that might be on the trail. Another reason you get blisters is because there is debris within your shoes or on your socks that is rubbing onto your skin. So the cleaner you can keep that area, the better. Now, trust me, this is one area I know quite a bit about. I spent over 14 years in the military, in the infantry, in an airborne unit, in a light infantry unit. So I know what it's like to be on my feet and to be constantly moving. So this is an area I am very familiar with. I know how to keep my feet good. And when you're on the trail and you're walking as many miles as you're walking, for us, 14 straight days, I didn't have a single blister the entire time. Do yourself a favor, go buy some Exo toe socks, which are a little thicker, a little nicer. I'll have a link to that below. And get yourself some gaiters, whether they're Dirty Girl, whether they're gaiters that come with some shoes that you have, but get some gaiters and I promise you, your feet will be loving you. Okay, tip number 5, and this is the last real tip for before the trail. This is something I did not do, but folks in my party did, and it really helped them out, and it really hurt me, is pack your bear can with your resupply food and make sure it all fits. I know that sounds like something that is probably super simple and everybody's going to think about that. I did not. So when we got to VVR and we laid out our food for the second half of the trail, which was a full 7 days, I could not get all of my food to fit into my bear can. So pack your bear canister with your resupply or resupplies and make sure that it all fits, or that you can figure out a way to repackage things or to stuff things and have a system to do that, so that when you get your food at your resupply, it's all going to fit and you're going to be good to go. Okay, for these next 5 tips, we're going to go over tips to help you on the trail. This one here is a little bit in between. So tip number 6 is download and use the Far Out app while on the trail. Now you're going to have to download it and potentially pay for the John Muir Trail portion of it all before the trail. But while on trail, use the Far Out app. It will help you with comments from updated real-time comments about the locations or the conditions on the trail, whether that be campsites, whether that be water, whether that be just people commenting about how they're passing through a pass that may be snowy, or water crossings that may be a little sketchy. You can see folks' comments on there, what it was like for them. Download those new comments. You got the latest and greatest, and then you will be squared away while you're on the trail with the most up-to-date information you can get. So great app. Make sure you use it on the trail. Okay, tip number 7. This one's a pretty easy one. Document your JMT experience. Get a camera, use your phone, do what you need to do to be able to film and record this amazing experience that you're going to have, especially if you're doing it with friends or family members and people that you really love. Even if you do just use your cell phone, make sure that you document pictures, videos, make sure you got a battery to recharge your phone so you have enough juice so that you can use it to document. But this is going to be an experience of a lifetime for many of us, myself included. I wish I would have captured a little bit more video, a little more kind of B-roll, if you will, of just like the scenery and what was going on. So even bringing it probably wasn't enough for me. Make sure that you are documenting in a way that you can remember this. Video, a journal, notes in your phone at the end of the day, something that's going to help you. I promise that'll make this experience continue to stay in your mind and last for years and years to come. Okay, tip number 8 is going to be to stay at the Backpackers Campground in Yosemite Valley. Now, this is applicable for those going NOBO or SOBO. Why this is such a great thing is you can come into the park the day before your permit starts, pick up your permit the day before, not have to rush anything, and then you can spend the night there in the Backpackers Campground, which is also a little bit of elevation. So if you are coming from sea level, it gives you at least another bit of time to acclimate at somewhere around 4,000, 4,200 feet in elevation or so. You can stay there the night before, you can get up. It's about a mile and a half to the Happy Isles trailhead from there. And you can start your trip first thing in the morning instead of having to be nervous about getting in and then standing in line and then getting your permits. And then before you know it, you need to grab lunch in the park and you're not starting the trail till 1, 2 p.m. or later. And if you want to try to do Half Dome as well, then that's just going to be, you're not going to get a lot done on that first day. Now, if you're coming NOBO, it still makes sense to do it. You can stay at that campground the night that you finish the trail. Come in, finish the trip, set your stuff down at the Backpackers Campground, go into the park and just relax and enjoy what you just accomplished. And then the next day when you've got more time, your logistics out of the park to wherever you're maybe flying from or driving to, you can take a full day to kind of figure that out. So that would be my tip, is utilize the Backpackers Campground the night before you start if you're SOBO and the night after you finish if you're NOBO. Okay, so almost finished here. Tip number 9 is going to be a real on-trail tip, and that is just get your day started early. We were able to get started pretty early every morning, probably on trail 5:45, 6 o'clock, maybe 6:15, kind of at the latest on a day. But I'll tell you what was beautiful about that. You are up and watching sunrises happen across the most beautiful mountains that there are in the United States. That is also what they would call the golden hour, where you've got a lot of wildlife that's out. You've got a lot of things that are up and moving. But that golden hour in the morning is just beautiful. I understand sometimes wanting to sleep in, and I also understand maybe watching a sunrise from your tent. But being able to get up and get out early also then affords you the majority of the day to do what you want to do and to get where you're trying to go. But that can afford you time to take an hour break for lunch, take another 30 minutes to go swim in one of the lakes, or to enjoy the scenery and the view where you're not rushing yourself. Get a good night's sleep, get your day started early. It also helps if it's warm, and it also helps on the southern end of the trail when you're going up and over passes and there could be afternoon thunderstorms that come through. So generally speaking, the earlier you can kind of get up and started, the better things are going to go. Okay, so here we are. Last tip to ensure that you have the most amazing experience you can have on the John Muir Trail. This one is kind of one that these have kind of gone chronologically a little bit in order, or logistically in order. Anyway, is to slack pack Mount Whitney in the south or Half Dome in the north. We did this on Half Dome, which was a little less known maybe than Whitney, and I'll explain that. But on Half Dome, we went past the Half Dome junction a bit, maybe close, not quite to Clouds Rest junction, but we went up past the Half Dome junction a ways to where there was a water stream. We set up a tent, meaning we laid it out, and then we just put everything underneath the tent that we weren't going to take with us. And then we just took our lighter packs and went back down the trail. So yes, a little backtracking, and then did Half Dome. Half Dome is pretty hard in and of itself. So to have a full pack of all of your gear, not a good idea. For Mount Whitney, it's a little more, I guess, popular, a little more well-known, but on Whitney's, you're going up the backside. You come to a place where the front side trail and the backside trail meet up, and then the trail goes up to Whitney. And most people you'll see will just drop all of their gear at that little junction and go up Whitney either with no backpack on, or again, they'll maybe reconsolidate some things. So that made both of those relatively large climbs much more enjoyable. Yeah, slack packing where you can, especially in an area that's as easy as Half Dome and Whitney. Highly recommended. That'll help you out. Okay, friends, so that's it. Those are my 10 tips to help you have an experience of a lifetime on the JMT. What did I miss? If you've hiked the JMT before, or you think that you've got a tip that would be applicable regardless of the trail, put down below. I'd love to hear what your kind of number one or top two tips for others would be. I'd still love to learn because there's a lot that I have to learn about through hiking and backpacking. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming back and watching. If you got questions about what gear I took on the JMT, I put out a video that I think is the perfect ultralight and comfort gear list. And you'll see that right here. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.